starting with Chapter 6, Section 3. First point. Mechanization is the use of machines to produce goods instead of the labor of people or animals. 1600s and 1700s England saw many individual farmers and skilled artisans just out in the country in their cottages producing goods at their homes for entrepreneurs who would then pay the people for their labor and then sell the products in towns, cities, wherever they're selling them. By the late 1700s, migrant workers were being gathered in factories where they could be controlled easier. Then, once the Industrial Revolution came, machines were then added to these factories. The use of factories allowed for quicker and cheaper production of goods for the consumers. Consumers were happy because products were made cheaper, but the conditions in factories were not ideal. Machines in factories were dangerous, and the products were less quality than when they were made by individual, actually skilled artisans. In factories, they're just made by cheap laborers who don't really know what they're doing. Factory owners regulated almost every aspect of their workers' lives, professional and personal. This led to groups such as the Luddites, who rebelled against factory owners and would destroy the machines that were used in factories. So it took a negative toll on society and people's lives as a whole. So Adam Smith was a Scottish economist who advocated for an early version of capitalism in his book, The Wealth of Nations. Smith argued the idea of an invisible hand that guided the economic marketplace. The invisible hand is the idea that individual people will make their own economic decisions about how they will achieve their goals and what is best for them, how they will make the most money, or what will help their own personal business, and so on. Individuals doing this will guide the market in the right direction as the people are controlling the market instead of the government forcing it to go a certain way. So differences between mercantilism and capitalism. A difference between mercantilism and capitalism is the change in government involvement in the economy. Mercantilism is the idea that trade and exports from other nations will grow a nation's wealth. We bring other nations bring products to us. We will export products to other nations, and that's how power will grow. Capitalism gives people economic freedom as supply and demand of products produced by individuals will guide the market and allow for individual gain. Instead of the government controlling what products are bought and sold and where, which countries are exported to, capitalism is based on the idea that people are selfish and will do what needs to be done in order for them to gain the most profit or for them to, advance as much as they can. And then talking about Karl Marx's argument on capitalism. Karl Marx's view on capitalism does effectively address the challenge to capitalism. His view is that capitalism forces entrepreneurs and business owners to exploit labor forces in order to create more personal profit. This is an issue of capitalism because even today, many professions are not paid what they should be paid, so the company can save money and earn more profit. We see it all the time in different businesses. Companies underpay their workers and provide dangerous working conditions just to save money, and that is what Karl Marx is saying. So I think his argument does effectively address an issue with capitalism. And then we'll move on to Chapter 7, talking about natural rights and what I believe. The concept of natural rights is based on the idea that humans are given unalienable rights at birth, and these rights cannot be taken away. I believe that the most obvious natural right is life. Everyone should have the right to live their life because, that's why we're here. That's why you're born, so you can live your life and do what you want to do. I also believe that freedom of speech is a natural right because speech does not harm anyone. Everyone should have the right to voice their opinions on matters for the good of everybody. My third natural right is justice. Everyone has the right to have justice fought for them. Nobody should be left to fend for themselves without justice being served correctly in a court of law. And explain social contract. The social contract theory is the idea that people would give up their natural rights to a government who would then protect those rights for the good of everybody. The government would serve the people as a whole and do what is believed to uphold those natural rights for everybody. And then the contradiction about rights and freedoms during the Enlightenment. Many of the contradictions that surrounded the freedoms stated in the Enlightenment period followed people of color and opposing gender. White males who owned property received their natural rights, and governments upheld them only for those white males. Males of lower classes and females were still considered inferior in many ideologies, and people of color were not even considered people. This led many people to believe that these groups did not possess the ability or the right to hold their natural rights. And so that contradicts the theory that everybody has unalienable rights that cannot be taken away, but lower class males, females, and people of color, did not have these natural rights. Summarize causes of the French Revolution. The causes of the French Revolution started in the 1770s, where the crop harvest had yielded very low, and the French crown almost went into bankruptcy. This left many peasants and lower-class citizens starving. These citizens became unsatisfied with what the government was doing and began rioting. The government also tried implementing a land tax on aristocrats, which made the wealthy landowners in France want to rebel against their previous privileges of having no taxes. The middle class of citizens was also unhappy with their power in government and wanted a change similar to the ideas brought up during the Enlightenment, where everybody has the same unalienable rights, such as freedom of speech. So everybody, middle class, low class, peasants, and aristocrats were unhappy with the French government and what they were putting on them. Outline the connection between the Haitian and French Revolution. The Haitian Revolution was indirectly started by the French Revolution. The different groups of people in Haiti, white plantation owners, free people of color, and poor white males, had sent delegates to Paris after the French Revolution in order to receive new freedoms based on what happened during the French Revolution. The groups of people in Haiti asking for more freedoms could not agree on the rights for people of color, what they should or should not have, what rights they should or should not have. This led the enslaved people and other people of color to rebel against the white people of Haiti and France. The successful rebellion led to the emancipation of the slaves and all the white men to be drove out of the nation, and Haiti eventually became a sovereign nation. Describe the main tenets of liberalism and conservatism. Liberalism includes the ideas that people have individual civil rights, and the government should not intervene in those rights. Liberalism focused on the protection of private property, civil rights, freedom from restraint, and freedom of expression. Conservatism focused on the idea of submitting to government authority and to let religion play a substantial role in maintaining order among the people. So they're kind of opposites. Liberalism does not want government intervention, and conservatism is basically saying to submit all power to the government. The rights of the community is most important. Talking about conservatism, the rights of the community is most important, and individual rights came second. Conservatism believed that social or political change must happen slowly instead of a sudden change, such as the form of revolution, as we've seen in the French, the American, and the Haitian Revolution.